share a little bit about my process and what's kind of been going on, and then also I will share some, information or things that I found that helped me understand a little bit more what was going on, because I think that once you understand something, then you can know what the best way is to approach it. If you don't like something, you can fix it, but you have to know what is it that I don't sit well with me, because I know that it's not other people's obligation to fulfill me or give me that love that just really fulfills me or give me the attention and the validation. It is only fulfilling when it comes from myself. And I thought back to my childhood and pinpointed specific memories that left this impression on my body, on my mind, and on my soul that followed me throughout my life. And it's so incredible to know the source, you know, and to really face these hard things, because it's harder to carry it. It's harder to always push it back in your mind and just act like everything's okay. I'm good. I'm happy. I had a good life. And in reality, no, I'm not okay. This is heavy to keep carrying, and I don't want to carry it anymore. I hope this is making sense. And so yeah, I made that connection between why as an adult am I feeling this way, and pinpointing those memories that triggered this kind of chain reaction and pattern of behavior. And now I feel like, because I'm aware of it, I don't have to be victim to it. And seeking validation from others, there's times when that comes up and I catch myself in the moment and I'm like, oh, I'm looking for validation. That's what this is. And then reminding myself, like, okay, what I feel like I want from them, I can give to myself. So I'll validate myself, even in the littlest of ways. Like, if I tell myself, oh my goodness, I cannot get through this workout, like I'm so tired, I don't feel like exercising, I can't do it. And if I push myself, because this actually happened like a couple days ago, I pushed myself and I'm like touching the screen to see, okay, are we almost done? And I said, okay, let me do one more exercise, 1 more minute, 1 more exercise. Okay, it's not that bad, let me just do 1 more. Okay, I want to stop, but let me just do 1 more. And I got to the end of the exercise. It was like 15 minutes. It wasn't that long, but it was hard because I didn't want to do it. And then at the end of it, I cheered for myself and I said, I am so proud of myself that even though I didn't want to do it, I did it. And if I did not do it, that's okay too. But I validated myself, and like at the end of the day, I'll journal and I'll like reflect and be like, what am I proud of myself of today? And not in like a vain way, like I'm so great, like no, it's really reversing this way of operating, of looking to the outside for things and bringing it to the inside, and just saying it's okay to be proud of myself. It's okay to see myself and be proud of any little accomplishments and any big well, it's okay to be proud of myself of the little accomplishments and the big accomplishments, and just being present shuts down. At times of danger, we become overwhelmed by feelings and impulses, and we don't think about or contextualize our experiences. We only react to the danger rather than thinking about it. This evolutionary response to danger takes the fast route via that part of the brain I talked about earlier, the amygdala, rather than taking the longer route through the cortex, which has aided our survival. After the danger has passed, the normal response is for the thinking brain to then react, regulate responses, plan, problem solve, and allow arousal levels to return to baseline. This amygdala part of the brain is oversensitive, and the capacity of the thinking brain is reduced in individuals who have been exposed to trauma in childhood and develop complex PTSD. Memories have not been processed and fully integrated into the autobiographical memory, and they remain stuck in implicit feeling memory. Flashbacks and reliving the trauma occur because this part of the brain has kicked in and has gone offline and is unable to contextualize the memory in the moment. Traumatic memories are therefore re-experienced rather than remembered, and that's really important. And again, I'll bring it back to more personal. When I talk about certain traumatic experiences I feel like I've gone through, I literally feel it in my body as if it's happening, not just a memory and I've moved on from that. It's like it brings me right back into it. It's wild actually, but to be able to understand why that is happening has been such a big part of my healing journey. Now I'll talk about symptoms of complex PTSD. Okay, so re-experiencing or reliving unwanted memories as flashbacks or nightmares, hyperarousal problems with sleep, anger, anxiety, hyper-alertness, hyperarousal as well, feeling numb or cut off, feeling detached from others, disassociating, feeling flat or feeling empty, emotional dysregulation, negative self-concept, relationship difficulties, avoiding thinking or talking about trauma-related topics, abuse of alcohol, or abuse of substances in order to avoid and numb feelings. There are two types of specific symptoms that mark childhood PTSD, and I will get into that right now. It is 1, emotional flashbacks, and 2, dysregulation. So emotional flashbacks, unlike memories of events, emotional flashbacks involve strong negative emotions that don't seem on the surface connected to anything happening in the present time. A person will be overwhelmed for small reasons or for no reason at all, with an overwhelming sense of sadness, rage, terror, or frustration. It can happen when you wake up, for example, or when someone criticizes you or gives you a present. You are not reliving some childhood experience consciously. You know that you are here in the present time, but your emotions respond as if your original childhood trauma is happening again. Yeah. Dysregulation. Childhood trauma is associated with a tendency to become dysregulated, not just emotionally, but neurologically. Everyone gets dysregulated sometimes, and most of us eventually re-regulate. Childhood PTSD may spend more time in a dysregulated state and have difficulty re-regulating. You might feel numbness in your hands or your mouth, or get lost while driving, or find yourself say